So a while ago, I used to do game pickup videos, and well, I guess I can still do it now. Like I've really been into board gaming, and I feel like it would be a huge detriment to myself and this channel if I didn't talk about all of the board game pickups I get as well. Obviously, I can't include um, games I could get for my PC or console, although they might be mentioned. Um, I will like to do specific videos talking about the board games that I did pick up, brief explanation as to maybe how I got them. Now, in full transparency, clearly I'm not going to be doing this every single, these are not going to be, games that I get within the somewhat near time frame I'm doing this. Will go back a few months, some will be current. Now, clearly, if I did everything all up front and started anew, it'd take a little longer to get these kind of videos out. You kind of see where I'm coming from. So, this is just going to be different installments. I'm going to pepper in some good new stuff, some stuff I got maybe a month or two prior, and this will kind of maybe replace the video game stuff. And now if that's something you might want to see, I could probably throw some stuff in from time to time. But for now, this is what we're going. That's what we're going to kind of go with right now. Hopefully I explain it really well. If you need me to explain it a little bit better, let me know in the comments. But yeah, board games. I love them. I've been collecting them, I'd say pretty good the last year. Right now they're kind of taking it a little slow. We're in the process of getting into a bigger place, our first house technically, and don't want to spend kind of crazy money on getting the new stuff. So as much as I would love to try Gloom Haven and a couple of the new standalones that just came out, it's probably not going to happen unless I can get a really good deal on that. Now, thankfully, one of the games in here did come from a really good deal, so stick around, check it out, and I'm hope you enjoy. So these, it's weird because when it comes to gaming, this is a problem I kind of came into accidentally. People who like to play board games but have kids, and for you future parents out there, just throwing this one out there for you. I've noticed that if you're playing a game after your kid's asleep, the biggest problem you're going to run into is the sound you make with, if you're playing a game with dice. Especially if you're playing on, a glass table or a wood table. Noise can be a big problem. That's why I invested in these two things. Now, this one is actually a collapsible dice tray. I have featured it on a live stream. So if you wanted, I forget which one that is. But, it's on a live stream. Now, the cool thing with this is that from first glance, it just looks like felt with a little leather backer on it. And the cool thing is that you fasten the sides, and it's a collapsible dice tray. And this actually works really well, and the best part is it packs up really, really easily. The unfortunate thing is when I got this particular one, you could probably see it right there. That one piece I had stuck together, and when I pulled it open, it pulled this entire thing with it. However, I took a clamp and some Gorilla Glue and just kind of let it sit there, and that seemed to fix the problem pretty well. So I think this was about $5 on Amazon. Now, this one I actually got at a garage sale, which is kind of the opposite of being discreet and quiet and lightweight, but growing up playing Dungeons and Dragons, I loved having this. I was at a garage sale, and it was technically an illegal garage sale because this was back before when, it was declared by at least my state of New York that people could have garage sales. And this guy was selling a brand new in-box dice tray and dice kit for $5. And I open it up, and boom, look at that. Oh, it's still in the plastic and everything. So are the dice. Dice are still in the package. Now, I honestly don't need any more of these. I have an entire glass vase on my bookshelf full of D6 dice. Then just D6 dice. I used to play, like I said, Dungeons and Dragons and Magic the Gathering, so I also have a giant giant like container full of all kinds of other dice. But yep, the outside's wooden. Inside it's got that nice soft felt going on. My apologies if I'm not sounding that articulate. I'm currently battling through a pretty nasty toothache right now, which is taking up equal parts of my thinking ability. But for $5, that's pretty good. I'd say retail these things, I've seen nicer ones go for about 30, 40, 50 bucks. Got that for $5. Yeah, the box is beat up, but I don't care, and it'll fit right on my board game shelf, so I'm not complaining. These I actually found brand new at Goodwill for $2.99 a piece, and that is the Oregon Trail card game and the Hunt for Food standalone game. Both of these still have the cards in here wrapped. Neither of these have been used. I see these go at Target for anywhere between $7.99 and $15, depending on when you go. Also, make sure you're checking your Target if board gaming is something you want to get into, because Target is always rolling out deals. Make sure you have the Target app as well, and you're using the price scan feature, because they will price match any deals that come up on your phone using that price match option. It has saved me some money, which I'm trying to remember what it was. I think it was like a Pandemic. It was a variation of Pandemic, and the name of it is escaping me. It's the dice variant. And it normally retails at $39.99. I got it on sale for $17.99 using that app. So always make sure you use that app. Let's see what else. This I actually got in a Facebook Marketplace deal. I've said before in other videos, Catan is the first board game, like serious board game that as an adult I played and I absolutely loved. And since then, the only really other kinds of Catan I played, I bought the 5 and 6 player expansion, which is arguably the best expansion you can get of the game. Come at me with your comments and whatever. I think having 6 players of Catan is a ton of fun, especially if it's all the right people. I love playing with family. We just have this extremely hilarious dynamic. Not the most PG-friendly environment, but honestly, I grew up around that, so it's totally fine. But aside from like the Star Trek version of the game, I don't really have any other expansions, but I saw this brand new on Facebook Marketplace for $20, still in the plastic wrap, and that was Catan, Traitors, and Barbarians. I don't know too much about this, except that it offers 5 different scenarios to the actual game itself, as it is here on the back. The Fishermen of Catan, the Rivers of Catan, the Caravans, Barbarians Attack, which I guess is like your horde mode, and Traitors and Barbarians, which is your wagons transport fine items and sand to help restore Catan's great castle. So that's essentially you fighting the game itself. This has its own. This is a standalone game. You can play it as it is, or you can add it to the core game, make it much bigger. I have yet to play it, but I definitely know that Cities and Knights is on there. Catan History, Settle for America, I believe it's called, only because I'm a huge. I like this country, and I like the fact the map is the United States. Seafarers and Starfarers. Problem with that one is that because that's the newest one, I should say, it's about $100, and I don't have that kind of money. So maybe another time. Maybe it's on Tabletop Simulator. Maybe, I don't know. I gotta figure out the interface on that. Maybe we'll do a breakdown of that one day. I have no idea. Let's see. This one I actually got from Ollie's. And funny story about this, I saw somebody selling this exact same model of this exact same game on Facebook Marketplace for $25. I don't know if you're aware of this, but there is a thing called scalping and scalpers, and I don't think it was the right thing for me to do to message that person. It was like, oh, that looks just like the version I got at Ollie's for $6.99, and they never got back to me. But my wife likes this game. I've actually never played it, and it's from the people that brought us Monopoly. which I'll probably gonna do my own video on it myself, and that is Payday. $6.99 for a brand new copy, still in the plastic. It's a classic game, and I'm not one of those people that doesn't get like games like Payday and Monopoly, or take your pick of like those I guess mass marketed games that like from Hasbro or Milton Bradley that you see on like Walmart shelves and Target shelves all the time. No, if it's fun, I'll get it. I'm not going to get 80 different versions of Monopoly. I'm not going to get 20 different versions of Pictionary. I think, that's where we can draw the line. But for $7, that was a good deal. Ollie sometimes is very hit and miss on the game department. I will say when they miss on board games, they hit hard on comic deals. Holy crap. But another video, I guess. There we go. I'm trying a whole new angle here. Let me know how that's going in the comments. This one I got at Barnes & Noble. Yes, Barnes & Noble sells board games. They have a clearance table there. Go and check it out. They usually always have something on sale. And believe it or not, the children's section also has board games. There's some good stuff over there too, like Sushi Roll for it, which is probably going to be getting my collection soon. But this game I got is the Big Brother version of Forbidden Island, and that is Forbidden Desert. My video on Forbidden Island, if you don't know what I'm talking about, go and check it out. It's a co-op game where you and your friends are working together to find treasures, and then escape the island before the island disappears, and you can't make it back to the helicopter and leave before the whole island sinks. This is a little different. This is, again, co-op game. Comes in a neat little metal tin, which is both cool and unfortunate. It's cool because I like the whole aesthetic of a tin. Not cool because it doesn't sit on your shelf really well, and if you have it sitting straight up, this version I don't have a problem necessarily, but Forbidden Island loves to have the front part just pop open, so I usually use like a hair tie to keep it closed. Anyway, this version, you're exploring a desert looking for pieces of your ship that has broken apart while you were flying home. You then need to get all the pieces together while basically excavating buried sites, staying out of the way of overexposure from the sun, making sure you have enough water, you don't die of dehydration, getting all the pieces to your ship back together, and then leaving. So it's a little more difficult. I kind of like the aesthetic of this a little bit more than I do Forbidden Island, but I like the challenge factor of this a little bit more. So got that at Barnes & Noble. I think I paid like $25 for that, brand new. I think it goes for around $30 to $35 normally. This one I actually got a good deal on. It was on GameStop.com, which, pause. GameStop, let's talk. You need to update your website. You need to update it in a bad way, and you need to take off the board games and stuff that you no longer are having in stock at all, period. They have had Mage Knight and Gloomhaven and Arkham Horror and Final Hour and so many, like Star Wars Armada, all kinds of other stuff sitting on their website, available to get, and then when I go to try to put it in my cart, it says it's no longer available online, and there's no store that carries them. Now, I can understand if what's going on in the world with this disease is playing a part in that. However, update your site. It's not hard, and for me, it's kind of a sucker punch, because when I'm seeing copies of Mage Knight go for $30, $40, which is about $60, $70 less than what it usually goes for brand new for the non-premium edition, and it's never available, it's a little bit of a tease. But anyway, this one was a good deal. I've heard some good things about this from Sam Haley, former member of the Dice Tower, anyone who watches board game stuff, and he said that this is a card game that he didn't expect to be that good, but he played it with his son, and he absolutely loved it. And I got it on sale on GameStop.com for $20. It normally retails for $40, and that is God of War, the card game based after the newest God of War. The rundown of it, so I can better explain it. It's a cooperative game for 1 to 4 players, so this does have a solo mode if you're the kind of person that likes to play board games on their own. in which they control characters from the video game as they move through the different scenes of the game, made up of multiple cards, each with a unique challenge they must overcome. So it's kind of like a God of War version of Gloomhaven, where, and when I say Gloomhaven is basically D&D, the board game. So it's basically like each scenario is built up, and then you have to get through that scenario to get to the next part of the game. That's what this is. Use the action cards and enhance your decks with upgrades to unleash powers against foes. Win and survive Ragnarok. Lose and witness a path that leads to destruction. So that's really cool. From Catan Games. Where are you? I'm not seeing it, and I feel terrible that I don't right off the bat. No, but Catan Games, huge publisher of games. This is official licensed product from Sony. Have not opened it from the plastic yet. I'm curious to check this out. I'm thinking my nephews will be a prime test group for this. It's a little complex, a little difficult. If you can see the back, yeah, it looks like it's a kind of like a set collecting game, and you progress your character as the game goes on through the different cards and abilities. So yes, very RPG-ish. This last game came in a part of a trade, and I'll hurry up for the sake of time because I just realized I'm on 16 minutes. So a little while back, I found out that there was a local group that meets in a hotel every week to play board games. Also found out that one of them was looking for a game called Dune. I had purchased this game of Dune. It's been around for decades. But they re-released a new version, and I bought it at a convention for about $50. This guy wanted it, and we talked back and forth, and he had something that I was looking for. And I'm getting into these deck builder games, which are games that you build the deck you're playing with as you're playing the game, and no two games are going to be exactly the same. It all comes down to the luck of the draw. Not to mention that there are expansions to add, but I traded him a fresh copy of Dune, and he traded me a copy of Legendary, the Marvel version, and I'll lean back a little bit so you can see it. This is awesome. How this works is you choose an enemy, you then choose your scheme, you start off with X amount of character cards, and then use those cards to either attack enemies or purchase more cards for your deck. And then every turn you draw a certain number of cards, and then you play them, and they'll either do attack or they'll buy something from the store. And the cool thing about this is that this actually came with the Fantastic Four expansion at no extra cost. So I roughly got like a $20 to $25 edition for free. So that to me was a win. So Legendary, happy to get it. It's not the biggest one I'm looking for. I'm really looking into like the Predator, like the Alien and Predator versions. I hear those are a little bit more fleshed out. This is just a lot of fun. Has tons of expansions. I'm curious to see how they're all going to plan out. And yes, you take those cards, you add them to what's already in the game. More characters are introduced, more villains are introduced, more schemes. It makes the game exponentially difficult as well as very, very different. So it's the game that keeps on giving the more you give into it, and you get more people into it, and just tons of fun. So that's going to do it for this episode of Board Games I Bought. Let me know what you thought down in the comments below. Of these games here, what would you think? What would you most likely want to sit down with me and play, or have me teach you to play? And if there's something else, game I should look out for, let me know as well. And until the next board game pickup video, y'all take care of yourselves and keep gaming.